Welcome, everybody. Welcome, welcome. I'm at my dear friend Laura Greenwood's house, and with her beloved partner, husband Joel. Miri is getting ready to leave for Brazil tonight, and so things are active, things are moving, things are intense. But in the middle of it all, I get to meet with you, and I get to share some real treasures, real treasures. I'm just so excited about today. To continue from our conversations over the past 50 years, these practices are methodical. They are developed specifically to align us, to stabilize us, to help us to become clear and conscious, awake, to penetrate into the depths of our own heart and to discover the brilliance of our own consciousness, our own awareness. And so we are going to engage in this transmission today in a methodical way. We're going to start with the prayer of motivation and the prayer of refuge in bodhicitta. So just to remind you, and of course, for those of you who are new to our practice, I can see there are one or two new faces. I love it. To recognize that as human beings, we possess the potential of awakened mind. And we know this because we have had examples of awakened mind walking on our planet. And they have demonstrated the capability, the possibilities of having a human body and having a human awareness, a human consciousness. And so because of that, we know what's possible. If they can do it, and they have, in fact, told us, as Christ has told us, as Buddha has told us, that what they are doing, we also can do. What they are, we also are. And they explain to us their system, their method, their way of approach, how they came to this understanding. And over the past several thousands of years, it has been demonstrated throughout humanity that there are individuals who take to heart these methodical teachings, engage in the methods, engage in the transformation of consciousness, and achieve what we can call awakened mind. Now, this is just a name, this is just an indicator, but there is an experience beyond words that we consider to be awakened mind. So in this method, the first thing that we need to do is determine clearly what our purpose for engaging in these practices is. Because once we do that, then the mind and consciousness orients itself. And according to the teachings that I have received, and according to what I've heard from various very profound and precious beings, it's really up to us to pull the energy into the center, which is where our heart sits, but also it is the line that runs through us, what is called in Sanskrit the Shushumna, the central channel. We pull the energies because in the depths of that place, then, is where we encounter what, in the text that I'm working with today with you, the subtle mind, the subtle mind. We want to connect with the subtle mind because therein lies the depths of insight. And when we penetrate that, then we open into our potential. So, starting from the beginning, setting our motivation, this is what we want to achieve. We want to achieve awakened mind. We want to achieve what is called in these practices wisdom. We want to have the capacity to radiate our loving compassion into the world, since wisdom is only effective when it is coupled with loving compassion. Those two are inseparable, and we must understand stimulating one stimulates the other, ignoring one brings the other one down. And so this is a very important principle for us to begin with. And then also recognizing that we engage in this practice, we engage in these practices, not only for ourselves alone, but with the recognition that we are not isolated, we're not alone, we're not separate from anyone else or anything else. We're an integral part of the whole display. And because of that, we want to bless those who approach us so that we can uplift the energy, not just of ourselves, not just of this isolated set of atoms dancing around, but also all of the individuals, all of the beings that arise at the same moment that we do. If we are conscious of this and of our connection, then our wish is that we empower everyone around us as well as ourselves. The practices will automatically start the empowerment process. Automatically. It comes because of the connection that we make with our sources of refuge. So when we make this connection, the second thing that we must do in order to maintain these connections is to assert that this engagement, these practices that we do, the blessings that we receive, we share them. We share them. So we bless and empower those who come in our sphere, those who come toward us. We bless them and empower them. And this means whoever we think about, whoever we meet, whoever we speak to, it doesn't matter who they are, our obligation in order to manifest this wish of ours to awaken, our obligation is to meet them with as much wisdom and compassion as we can. And in that way, to bless them with the power of our joy and to empower them to awaken, to receive these teachings from whatever source they can to help them to awaken. So this is our prayer of motivation and our prayer of refuge and bodhicitta. With refuge now, I want you to imagine as strongly as possible your sources of refuge arrayed in the sky in front of you. In the center is Mother Tara, and we're appealing to them to remain connected with us so that we can continue to receive their guidance, their inspiration, and their support. Yeah, like that. When we have done that, then we take a vow, we commit ourselves. Let's put it that way. We commit ourselves to the journey. The commitment is that we are going to reach awakened mind, knowing it's the greatest gift that we can give the world. And in this way, we set the foundation for the practices of Tara. So Miri, if you would please play the music, and we're going to spotlight the dancers.
I am here
I invoke the presence of the lineage of teachers. I invoke the presence of the enlightened ones. I invoke the presence of their teachings. I invoke the presence of the community of practitioners. I am inspired by the lineage of teachers. I am inspired by the enlightened ones. I am inspired by their teachings. I am inspired by the community of practitioners. My path is supported by the lineage of teachers. My path is supported by the enlightened ones. My path is supported by their teachings. My path is supported by the community of practitioners. Until the heart of enlightenment is reached, I go for refuge to the three jewels. I will attain enlightenment. For the sake of all beings. Until the heart of enlightenment is reached, I go for refuge to the three jewels. I will attain enlightenment. For the sake of all beings. Until the heart of enlightenment is reached, I go for refuge to the three jewels. I will attain enlightenment. For the sake of all beings. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Okay, now, once we have determined our goal, awakened mind, and we've committed ourselves to the journey, we've invoked into our presence our sources of refuge, and please try as much as possible right this minute to imagine they're right in front of you, pouring their love, their light, their support into you. Now, having committed ourselves to this journey, knowing it's the greatest gift we can give the world, we're going to engage in the extraordinary practice of Tara. What makes this practice extraordinary is that it is woven in a specific way that acknowledges our capacity and that encourages us to relinquish any thoughts of inadequacy and to arise as a radiant light being, meeting the world consistently with our wisdom and compassion. The sadhanas of the deities are designed to help us to do this, and they utilize the sacred construction of the human body, as well as the light body, the understanding that we also possess the capacity to engage as a light body, and also the capacity to keep the mind open in its spacious and clear essence. These are all capabilities of our own awareness. So, having acknowledged that, then there is a foundation. The foundation starts with gratitude, an understanding of how exceptional this opportunity is. This is essential. Gratitude is an essential element to cultivate. According to our neuroscientists who have been studying, mapping the brain, they say that it is the most effective engagement that the brain could make in its good health. And so we start there with generosity. That's the basis of our foundation. Then we move on to the understanding of impermanence and death. This is part of the human experience, impermanence and death, and we must come to terms with it. If we do, in an appropriate way, which I'm going to try to guide you through a few aspects of that in our Bardo prayer, when we engage in that way, when we truly understand, then instead of just causing distortion in our life or disturbance in our life or suffering in our life, the impermanence and death become opportunities for us to engage in such a way that it drives us deeper into the awakening of our own essential nature. Yep. So impermanence and death, very important. The third one is to also recognize, in order to manifest awakened mind, we need a tremendous amount of vitality. It's not a sleepy, go to sleep kind of an experience. It's not, well, if I just hang out, it's automatically going to happen kind of thing, according to these teachings. According to these teachings, we've got to really make an effort. And the effort in this case is the recognition that as we engage in life, now you can call this karma. This is a description, a word. But basically what it's saying is when we move towards the interconnectivity of all and engage in that way, then we gather power, we gather energy, we gather capacity. When we abuse that, when we act as if we are the only thing that matters, nothing else matters, no one else's feelings matter, the destruction of this or that doesn't matter. When we think that way, we are diminished. Our vitality is diminished. So this is also very important to understand, that we have this basis of action. That's what karma means, action. How do we act in life? And then finally, there's the observation of the fact that all things, all people, all experiences, because they pass away, because they change, they don't provide us with any kind of lasting satisfaction. In fact, if we cling to any places, any possessions, any in relationships, we are bound to suffer because everything is going to change. It's part of the makeup of our engagement in consciousness. If we are aware of that, then where do we invest our energy? Where do we invest this consciousness that we've been, this human possibility? Where do we invest this potential? So according to these teachings, best to invest it in awakened mind, in the capacity to receive, to awaken into the fullness of our human potential, which is the ability to live and love, to live according to wisdom mind, and to love infinitely compassionate in engagement. So having placed, this is our foundation, and we must remind ourselves, because the forces around us are seductive. It's seductive. And we have been trained to approach this seduction in ways that seem to bring benefit, that seem to bring gratification, but in the end are not, do not satisfy us. And so we examine our life very carefully and we come to the conclusion, if we examine it very carefully, we come to the conclusion that running after places, friends, things, etc., and making that the focus of our attention, in fact, is a losing proposition. So according to these teachings, by that understanding, the mind automatically turns to dive deeply into the practice, and specifically in our case, to dive deeply into the practice of Tara. We have this gift of the information how to do this. So now we've set the groundwork. We understand what compels us, what propels us into this practice. And now I want to engage with you and just sort of share a little sort of joy that has arisen in Tara Datu, Tara's capacity, is a prayer that I wrote many, many years ago when I first started engaging with this practice and trying to understand why it was so powerful. What was so powerful about it? I didn't know anything about Buddhism or about Tibetan ways. And so I read a book called Introduction to Tantra, and I invite you all, if you haven't read it, please read this book. It's so very helpful, by Lama Yeshe. It was the first I'd ever heard of Lama Yeshe, although now I've heard quite a bit about him. It's a rather amazing being. And he really had a handle not only on Tantra, on the Tibetan Tantra, but its way of expressing it, explaining it to the Western mind. So I've asked I've asked Noelle if she would write on the chat, Introduction to Tantra, Lama Yeshe, so you can look for this. So I would like to invite Noelle to bring up, let's see, the prayer of the daily prayer. And I'd just like to invite all of you to say this with me. We've created, our wonderful Priya has created a melody. I know Pia is also working on a melody. And we met last night with our wonderful musician, Shams, in the park with about 12 other Taras singing and dancing. And I brought my drum, and we've created a melody to a daily prayer. But to honor that, what we did last night, I would like all of us to just read through the prayer together. So Noelle, if you could put that up on the screen, Noelle can do a share screen for us. I would be grateful. The nature of my mind is pure. So where is the nature of my mind? I may not have sent this. Okay, so we'll start there. Ah, there it is, the fundamental. Yay! Oh, goodness gracious. So now let's all chant this together. The fundamental nature of my mind is pure. Within me is an inexhaustible source of love, wisdom, and power. The purpose of all spiritual practice is to reveal and make contact with this. When ignorance is removed, unlimited wisdom, compassion, and power arise. It is the mind's conditioning that limits understanding of who I am and what I can become. I will cleanse my mind of faults and develop beneficial qualities. This removes obstacles to my path and creates auspicious conditions. Recognizing the interconnectedness of all, I will strive to be my best, to manifest my enlightened potential, ever dedicated to benefiting all beings. I will think, speak, and act as Tara. Yes, so I'm very much looking forward. So Noelle, if you can bring up the image of Tara, and yes, I wanted the full body. That would be very good. There she is. I will think, speak, and act as Tara. Okay, so now I wanted to share with you a very special friend. And before we do that, would you bring up the picture, Noel, of Lama Yeshe? There he is, Lama Yeshe. So Lama Yeshe, this book, Introduction to Tantra, and the prayer that we just read came much out of his inspiration. He has been in and out. I've never met him, but his monastery, Copan, has been in and out of my personal life experience for many, many, many years. And I was so delighted when I discovered that my dear friend Laura was a student of his, that she actually sat in his classes. And so recently, and I'm going to ask you if you could please, Noel, bring up Laura's image. So we're at Laura's house today, and she's so kind and generous with us. And recently, she gave me a manual, a bunch of typewritten pages. And Noel, is Laura, are you able to spotlight her?
I'm looking for her.
Laura Greenwood. She's
There we
there.
go.
Okay.
Okay.
Okay. Fantastic.
Oh,
Yes. Ah, there she is. Well, yay. Okay, so this is my dear, dear friend, Laura. And when I come down the mountain, I try as much as possible to be able to hang out with her because we have fabulous Dharma connections. And when she gave me this book, well, it's not a book, it's just a gathering of pages, of typewritten pages from a talk, a retreat. Well, I'll have her talk a little bit about it. I have been so inspired by this that I will talk to you about some of it. But I wanted her to say, Laura, tell us, what is it that you gave me? How did you describe it?
It's a commentary. So in 1979, in his monastery in Kopan, outside of Kathmandu, he gave the Chittamani Tara initiation to a group of students. And then he spent several days doing a commentary. And back in those days, you know, it was pretty crude. So it was recorded, and then this woman Sylvia Weiss, whose name is on there on the front page, she spent many, many days transcribing it and typing it. And so it's 100 and I think 90 pages. It's him verbatim speaking. So it's raw because it's him. And he started teaching Westerners in 1970. And and he, you know, is self-taught English. And he was one of the very first Tibetan lamas to teach Westerners. He started teaching Westerners in 1970. And I had the good fortune of being in Kathmandu and going to Kopan, his monastery, in 1972. So I was at his fourth course where he was teaching and changed my life.
So do you have any anecdotes any little stories that you could tell us about Lama Yeshe? Because I know he was a great jokester.
Yes, yeah. He was you know, his student was Lama Zopa Rinpoche, and Lama Zopa was a cave yogi in his former life. So Lama Zopa was very strict and very formal, and Lama Yeshe was just the opposite. So you know, he was very relaxed, very easygoing, laughing all the time, loving children. You know, whenever there were any children around, they ended up in his lap. Uh, he loved women. He loved women. He had a special, even in this commentary, you'll see a few lines where he talks about how much he feels connected to women and to women's issues and suffering. And one of those reasons that many of us only found out a bit later was that in his former life, he was an abbotess of a nunnery. So the reason he wasn't called a Rinpoche is because in the Tibetan Buddhist tradition, it's still very male directed. And you had to be a male lama that redirected your birth into the next life. And then when you were recognized, you were a Rinpoche. Well, he was a woman. He was the head of a nunnery, a very famous nunnery in Tibet, and he was a very famous abbotess. And then he reincarnated and became Lama Yeshe. So that's part, I think, many of us feel that about him, that connection to women is very strong.
Oh, that's amazing. I never knew that.
Yeah. Yeah.
So thank you so much, Laura. Noelle is going to write the name. Now, this text is not available. It's not a book that you can buy. It's a gift that Laura, she Xeroxed it off for me, and I've been taking notes and working on it. But I also realized there are several really wonderful books about Chittamanitara, about this particular practice. So if you want to pursue it, or if you want to get any further information, I went on Google just to see what might be available. And there are several books. I know I have some in my library, and I'm going to pull them out and work on them a bit, because after this teaching by Lama Yeshe, I got very excited about the idea of working with with this particular practice. Yeah. Yeah, when I was in Copan, when we had the nuns dance for us, uh, we were given a blessing of Chittamanitara. But yeah, that's an invitation. Okay, so now let's see, where are we? Laura, thank you so much for everything, always. I'm so, so grateful. I want to do some practice with everybody now, but I think I need to take a little break. I just want to make sure I got, yeah. Okay, very short break. I just need water in, water out. And then I will guide you on the practices and some of the information that I got from this beautiful book of Lamas. So Miri, if you would play our beautiful hymn to Tara. It's just 4 minutes. I'll be right back, everybody. Okay. So now we're going to engage in what I was calling to myself some mental gymnastics. Yes, some various modes of visualization and embodiment that will stimulate us in very specific ways. So during these practices, I invite you to sit in a meditative position, whatever is comfortable for you. Most important is that your back is straight. And now I'm going to ask Noelle to spotlight to share picture of Tara, because we start our gymnastics, our capacity of working the mind. We started with the image in front of us, directly in front of us. So as soon as that Tara image comes up, there she is. Okay, now remember, I guess you have to click on this Noelle's screen in the upper left-hand corner. I want you to be able to see Tara as clearly as possible. So one of the mental gymnastics that we need to develop is the ability to imagine that she is in the sky in front of us. Now, some of us, especially people I have discovered who are artists, often can see her very, very clearly because they're used to doing this with visual image. But others can feel her presence. That's another capacity that individuals have been cultivating to be able to feel the subtle energies around them. So don't worry if you can't literally see her. Use this image if you need to concentrate. You want to develop your concentration so it is one pointed on Tara. Now, if your mind strays off into what you're going to prepare for lunch or dinner or whatever, blah, blah, blahs, that's okay. Just keep bringing it back. This is the practice of one pointed concentration, and it's very important to develop this because as we continue, we will point out various things that arise. And when we point them out, we want you to be able to experience them as fully as possible. So start with Tara's beautiful face. You have the sensation that she's looking at you. She's looking right at you. She sees you. She's happy to see you. She loves you. So look at her beautiful face. Then notice that it is crowned. There's a beautiful crown, and there are 5 points in her crown. Those 5 points represent the wisdoms. And they are all they are different colors, even though we see them the same color here in this image. Nonetheless, each represents a wisdom. So we have the wisdom of totality, we have the wisdom of increase, we have the wisdom of clarity. All of these represent the 5 wisdoms of the 5 wisdom dakinis. Then notice that she has long hair. You can see her long black hair on her shoulders. This represents her freedom. She has unbound her hair, representing her freedom. If you continue to look, you see that she's youthful because she's gone beyond the whole concept of old age, sickness, death, rebirth. She's beyond that. She represents the totality of consciousness appearing in its most luscious form. She's covered with jewels. You notice she has necklace, bracelets, bangles on her feet, anklets. All of this represents her capacity for engagement in the world, that she's adorned by her engagement in the world. Her right hand, which is to your left, is extended palm out, fingertips pointing down, meaning generosity. She gives all that's needed. She's extremely generous. If you appeal to her for assistance in your journey, in your meditative journey, this is what she's most interested in helping you increase, is your journey to awaken mind. And she's very generous in her engagement with you. Her left hand, you notice it's palm out because the palm represents fear not, fear not. And then with the ring finger touching her thumb, that represents I am a source of refuge. So the 3 fingers that are standing up, she is the awakened one, she is the energy body, and she appears to us as a physical form. If you notice, she is sitting on a moon seat, which represents compassion, and a lotus, which represents wisdom. Her legs, the right leg, is extended outwards. It's resting on a forward blossomed lotus. This means that she's ready to move into action. It's called the heroic pose. She's ready to move into action when we call her. Because of her green color, she's extremely active. Her left leg is pulled in. Her heel is pressed against her perineum. This shows that she has mastered the power of desire. She's covered with silks, and you notice there's always a soft breeze blowing these silks around her body. This represents her willingness to attract others to her in order to bring them benefit. So in this way, we focus on the image of Tara, and we bring it to mind whenever we want, whenever we need to, throughout the course of our practices, but also walking down the street, whenever we feel like we need that inspiration, that presence, that refuge, that source, we invoke her, and there she is. So use some of your time in the cultivation of your personal practice. use some of your time to learn how to be able to see Tara and to have a one-pointed concentration upon her. If it requires a picture, get a picture, or a statue, get a statue. And then if you do this in this way, look above the picture for a little while and see if you can see her clearly, and then go back to focusing on the picture. That is one method of cultivation. So now, with Tara's image before us, we feel the light from her pouring into us and blessing us and encouraging us. And in this way, she's becoming more and more transparent, and she's melting into us and merging with us. And then our body melts and we completely disappear. So now we are resting in this great open space. So Tara has melted into us, and then there is complete empty space. So we imagine, Noel, if you can come up with our nice empty space. Okay, very nice, very nice. So now we imagine our body, Tara's body, everything has dissolved into this magnificent empty space. And out of this empty space, the ground appears, and it's beautiful ground. It's a beautiful, it's very smooth, and it's an island. This island has appeared, and it's surrounded by a beautiful ocean, and it's lush with gardens, and the air smells sweet, and birds are dancing around. Okay, this open presence is a reflection of our wisdom mind, and it's like a rainbow. The colors are vivid and clear, and in the middle of this, a lotus arises, and in the center of the lotus arises a green syllable tom. So if we can have the tom arise in the center of our screen, so you see what that's like. This tom is a reflection of our Dharmakaya wisdom, and like a rainbow, colors vivid and clear, it is radiating light. Light radiates throughout the universe and reflects back in. This is a reflection of our Dharmakaya wisdom. Like a rainbow, the colors are vivid and clear. The tom, the light is absorbed into the tom. The tom is absorbed into emptiness, but then another flower arises with the tom. Again, the tom melts into light. And then suddenly you appear as the divine wisdom mother Tara. So once again, if we could have the image of Tara, but this is now you. You have appeared as Tara. Feel yourself to be the great goddess Tara. You are emerald green in color. You have one face, two arms. You are peaceful and loving. Your hair, part of your hair, like hers, tied up in a knot, you are decorated with precious ornaments. You have flowers in your hair. Your right hand in the mudra of giving sublime realization, and your left hand at the heart in the mudra of the triple gem. Your breasts are full. You're adorned with so many ornaments and scarves. Your foot is stretched out, your left leg pulled in. Behind you is a crescent moon. You have fully accomplished all the signs of an awakened being. At your crown, the essence of indestructible body is a white Om. At your throat, the essence of the indestructible speech, a red Ah. And at your heart, the essence of the indestructible mind, a blue Hum. So if we could have that image on the screen, please, Noel, the Om Ah Hum. So you feel that this white light, red light, blue light appears. Now, also in your heart. Let's see, let me make sure I have this correct. Okay. I'm gonna make sure I have this sequence of this meditation correct. Yep. Yes. Yes. Okay. So now also in your heart is a tom. So if we could have that appear on the screen. From the heart of Tara, in the heart, in your heart is this syllable tom. And light radiates from this syllable tom. And the light appears as 21 taras surrounding you. You experience not only the vast space around you, but you are also transforming yourself into a light body. It is the union of the non-dual mind and blissful nature. This is your consciousness. Your consciousness is very subtle. Identify yourself with it now. This tom at the center of your heart is radiating green light. It is a little tiny tom, but its light is so powerful. It purifies the energy of all living beings. See this light pouring out of the center of your heart, transforming every being in this planet into Tara. And then the light makes offerings to all these Taras, and you're offering even this, your blissful experience, all that you understand, all that you are. The light goes out to all these supreme beings, and as they are touched by your offerings, they experience great bliss. They are all radiating, they are all Tara. And from them, wisdom and aspirational energy sinks into this central syllable tom at your heart. Again, another flower arises there, and then the tigle, that means at the very top, the little thing at the top, transforms and melts into Tara. As you are in this state of mind, you think, ordinary beings cannot see me. I cannot communicate. In order to communicate with them, I must manifest. So the light radiates from the tom, all sentient beings transformed into Tara, offerings made, all this wisdom energy, all these supreme beings, all blessings and aspirations sink back into the seed syllable. Again, you have a green, radiating, light body, the seed syllable at the center. This is your psyche. You perform these meaningful actions. And when you recite the praises with each verse of the manifestation of Tara, it sinks into you, into your heart. As we dance the qualities of Tara, they sink into us, each one in our heart, and reminds us that the light coming from our body is very, very powerful, coming from the center of our heart. And with this fantastic force, this powerful nectar pours into the world. Your body is filled with it, and all negativities and downfalls are purified by this energy. So please, everyone, I want you to stand, and we're going to dance through the qualities of Tara. Keep this focus that you are Tara, and in your heart, in the center of your heart, is this Tom, and it's radiating light, filling the universe. And as we dance the qualities, we remind ourselves, this is the essence of who I am. This is the essence of who I am. These are the gifts that I bring into the world. This is the inspiration that I bring into the world. So Miri, please, will you start the music for Tara, for the qualities of Tara? And Noel, you can run your spotlight through our group if you like.
Homage to the rare and precious, to the venerable Mother Tara we go for refuge, giving rise to wisdom and compassion. We enter the profound homage to the rare and precious, to the venerable Mother Tara we go for refuge, giving rise to wisdom and compassion. We enter the profound homage to the rare and precious, to the venerable Mother Tara we go for refuge, giving rise to wisdom and compassion. We enter the profound we bow to purify agons. We offer to purify grief. We reveal all negativities to purify anger, hatred, and war. We rejoice to purify jealousy. We request teachings to purify ignorance. Tara, stay, purify our connection. Whatever power we gather through this practice, may it be for the empowerment of all. And as the last veils fall away, we reveal the mind's radiance as the goddess Tara. Om Tare! Om Tare,
Tara is wisdom, compassion, and power. Wisdom, compassion, power. Wisdom, compassion, power. Wisdom, compassion, power. Wisdom, compassion, power. Om Tare! Tara is swift protection. Swift protection. Swift protection. Swift protection. Swift protection. Om Tare! Tara is creative wisdom. Creative wisdom. Creative wisdom. Creative wisdom. Creative wisdom. Om Tare! Tara is impeccable virtue. Impeccable virtue. Impeccable virtue. Impeccable virtue. Impeccable Virtue. Ondare. Tara is all victorious. All victorious. All victorious. All victorious. All victorious. Ondare. Tara is sublime intelligence. Sublime intelligence. Sublime intelligence. Sublime intelligence. Sublime intelligence. Ondare. Tara is worthy of honor. 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 Ondare. Tara is invincible courage. Invincible courage. Invincible courage. Invincible courage. Invincible courage. Ondare. Tara destroys negativity. Destroys negative thought. Destroys negative thought. Destroys harmful emotion. Destroys harmful emotion. Ondare. Tara is true refuge. True refuge. True refuge. True refuge. True refuge. Ondare. Tara is joy and laughter. 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 Ondare. Tara is the distributor of wealth. 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 Ondare.
is auspicious beauty. Auspicious beauty. Auspicious beauty. Auspicious beauty. Auspicious beauty. Tara is irresistible truth. Irresistible truth. Irresistible truth. Irresistible truth. Irresistible truth. Tara is ferocious compassion. Ferocious compassion. Ferocious compassion. Ferocious compassion. Ferocious compassion. Tara is serene peace. Serene peace. Serene peace. Serene peace. Serene peace. Tara is the destroyer of attachment. 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 Tara is bliss and joy. 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 Tara is the transformer of poison. Transformer of poison. Transformer of poison. Transformer of poison. Transformer of poison.
Beautiful, beautiful. Please sit. In the practice of a tantric deity, such as Tara, we have many levels of experience. So in this particular practice, the most profound level of experience is to understand that dying, the bardo, and being reborn, if they are approached in an appropriate meditative fashion, if we have cultivated the understanding of our own divine essence, if we let go of any idea of not being, of inadequacy, and manifest with the pride or the confidence of being an awakened mind, we penetrate into the subtle parts of our being where that essence is revealed. And so these practices are preparing us for that moment of death when we let go of the body, but we still possess consciousness. And so we dissolve into light, into openness, and we engage with the body of light, sound, and vibration. And then we have a choice to manifest in this world as Tara. So here's another meditation. Please sit in your meditative seat. Okay, so now in your meditative seat, we are going to explore another practice of Tara. Let me find it. So feeling yourself to be in the body of Tara, radiating your light into all the directions of the universe, being blessed in the center of your heart, a beautiful Tam appears. Now you are appearing, so you are Tara, green, radiant, universal, light radiating off you like 1,000 suns. So, Noelle, if you could please have the image of Tara arise on your screen. And then I want the Tam to arise. Okay. So now you, all of us, as Tara, transform everything into radiant green light. All external objects are transformed into green radiant light. And then all the Buddhas, all the Bodhisattvas, all sentient beings, everything sinks into you. The entire environment sinks into you. Okay. You as Tara, you are Tara now. All sentient beings are sinking into you. The entire environment is sinking into you. And as the green light sinks into you, this is the absorption of the element earth. You have the vision of a mirage. Contemplate on this. Then your beautiful Tara body sinks from top and bottom into your heart, into the seed syllable Tam. So now, Noelle, if you could please have that. Thank you. This is water sinking into fire. And you have the vision of smoke. Then, from the bottom of the letter Tam, it sinks into the main body of the letter. It is like fire sinking into air. you have a fire vision. Then at death time, you are ready to understand. Notice the body of the green letter Tom. It sinks into the head, the flat part. You have the vision of sinking air energy, a red vision, like the fire of a flame. That sinks into the moon's sickle. That's that little curved thing right on top of it. In this, you have a white vision. And then that sickle sinks into the tigle. That's like the little zero. And you have a red vision. Now the tigle sinks into what is called the nada. That's the little tail that goes up because it's disappearing into light and space. When that happens, it becomes dark like a butter lamp which stops burning. It suddenly becomes dark. And this nada sinks from the bottom to the top. It becomes smaller and smaller until the top is so tiny, so subtle, it becomes more subtle, and then it disappears. There's nothing to hold on to. You are in non-duality, the state of total emptiness. Energy is now in the central channel, and the subtle consciousness awakens. Instantly, you arise as Tara, radiating your light and love into all the directions of the universe. Look around the room and see how beautifully this world manifests, how incredibly powerful we are as radiant light goddess Taras, ready to move into the world to bring blessing and peace to all. Okay, please may I see everyone's beautiful face? Yep. Okay, so I need to figure out how to get the gallery view. I know things are moving. Ah, there it is. Yes. Okay, all right, you're still with me. Thank goodness. Well, these meditations, this whole assembly of meditations, this was the first time that I've actually shared this with anyone. I was very inspired by these notes of Lama Yeshe that my friend Lauren shared with me, because it reminded me that essentially what has always appealed to me is to have a rainbow body, to have a body made of light, so that when I die, my constituent elements disappear and there's no body for people to worry about. I like that idea. Yeah. And so, in fact, this is what is being offered to us through this practice. If we realize that we ourselves, the fullness of who we are, is a radiant light being, we have to realize this with all of our heart. So, in order to do that, these practices have been developed so that we can take the mind on a journey into the central channel, into the heart, into the experience of dissolution. This is what I just led you through on this practice. So practicing this and practicing this constantly and working with it, this is this is the way we die, in the most auspicious way. It is the preparation, and it's also our ability, our capacity to see that death is not anything to fear, that it is in fact our big opportunity. We've been preparing for it. It's like the Olympics of the human body. We've been preparing for this all our life, maybe many lifetimes. Here's our big chance. So then do the preparation. It's just, that's why I thought Yeah, mental gymnastics. That's exactly what this is like. You know, we are exercising a very specific set of mental muscles of preparing ourselves to be able, first of all, to hold a space. That's the one-pointed concentration, to realize the Tara is always in front of us, always present, always there, ready to bless us. And using that understanding, she melts into us. The energy melts into us. We melt, we arise, we radiate. And in that radiance, we make offerings, we give blessings, and then the light comes back into us. And then we methodically dissolve. So I wanted to go over with you in this context the Bardo prayer, because I have already prepared this for you. So I want you to understand how to use it. This was something that Lama Tenzin told me. Do it every day. Use it every day. Think about it every day so that you are prepared. Yeah, but before we do that, I want to give you a little chance to talk and tell me if you've had any experiences that you would like to discuss, any questions that you'd like, so that I don't get too far carried away with myself. Let me hear from you. If you have any questions about anything that we've done so far, or if you have anything you want to share, please raise your hand and Noel will find you. Okay, and going. So, Noel,
Kim, we're finding Kim. Just give me a second. Okay,
hey, Kim, hi.
Hi. Well, hi. It's interesting. I was just talking to my friend and telling this story the other night about sitting with my dad in 1998 and those, 3 days that our precious Parvati has just been through recently, and all of us have look forward to doing it for a parent someday. But anyway, there I was in 1998. My dad took to the bed and seemingly was kind of unconscious, moving a little, but nothing. So I figured that's the dissolution of Earth, I think. Now, I may not know this in the right order, but then I thought that perhaps the next was water, and he became very dry for a day and a half, And then after laying there for really a day and a half, we're in the middle of the night, and he stands up right out of bed and he's very agitated. And I thought, oh, well, he may need to urinate. So I attending to that, and then he laid down, and then the next day he stopped breathing. So the air dissolved, dissolution. Now, 26 years later, just now, within the last year, I realized I believe he was dissolving his fire element, and he felt burning, maybe. He had a lot of rage in his life, and so I just wanted to share that story. I realized this standing up suddenly and agitated felt like a fire thing that he was going through, perhaps, in the bargain.
Well, according to these teachings, whether we know it or not, that's what's happening. Whether
Yeah.
we can follow it or not, that is the normal way the body shuts down. Yeah, interesting. Yeah, interesting. Thank you, Kim, for
Thank
sharing.
you.
Yeah. Okay, anyone else have something they would like to share? Yeah. Oh, hi, Sherry. Yeah. Hi.
oh, Phyllis, Danu, unmute yourself.
Okay, Phyllis.
You had your hand up.
Thank you. When you were leading us through that beautiful meditation, at the top of the nada, is that what you called it?
Yes.
It was just a streaming of energy. There was nothing. It was so beautiful. But I wonder about, this is just my insatiable curiosity. This is something we can gift ourselves with as we die, but what about becoming a light body when we're not dead? I mean, are there people doing that? Are there, meditators or great lamas or somebody who's that's my question. I don't know if it's a clear question, but if we are already light bodies, because I believe we are, we just keep forgetting who we really are. um you know and it's not like I have a great, well, sure, I have a desire to get out of this clunky old body sometimes, but um certainly dancing Tara makes me feel full of light. And so yeah, that's just my question, if you know of any practitioners that become light bodies while they're still alive and go back and forth.
Well, the only thing I can speak of for my own experience is that I have definitely met beings that appear in a body of light. And also, I'm specifically thinking about when Jamgon Kongtrul came to Maui and was quite inspired by the dance. And so when he was sitting, I don't remember what the context was, but he started changing body shape.
Oh,
So first he appeared as a very small child, that was just totally childlike and delighted. Then he appeared as his teacher, the 16th Karmapa. Then he appeared as a full moon. And at first I thought, oh, this is me, I'm imagining this, until the woman next to me goes, "Did you see that?" So, so I said, maybe, what did you see? And she described exactly the same thing. So there are some beings who are exceptional. Many, I believe, the only one that I felt was really blatant in his general appearance as a light body was Satya Sai Baba, because he existed in during our time. And I certainly had experience of him appearing as a body of light, and met many, many people who had stories about him appearing as a body of light. So in that way, yes, there are beings who have achieved that. There's an interesting quote that he talks about here, that there's a way in to manifesting what they call the siddhis, or the exceptional powers of a Buddha. And, if we engage with these practices, that yes, it's possible that potential can arise within us. Yeah. But we have to be convinced of it. This is what he said repeatedly in these 190 or so whatever pages that I went through, was that the most important part of this was we had to have the pride of deity. We had to be convinced. We had to know that we, in fact, are this. And not identify with any sense of inadequacy at all. Simply not identify with it. So, we call it the ego, whatever we want to call it, but it's this persona that insists that it is better than, separate than any other aspect of being. So that's the best I can do for you with that question, but it was an interesting one. Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah. Okay, so Sherry.
Hi, everybody. Hi, Prema. Nice to see you. This is more of an observation, but after near 30 years in the hospital, I have witnessed and been an observer and partaken in the care of people dying. I've seen a lot of death in the Western way. And only a few times now have I experienced a little window into the death of a person who has a personal practice like we're having here with the Bardo. It is profound. I was absolutely blown away by the calmness of my father, who had no practice, but with Amina getting ready to cross over, it brought up, like Kim, it brought up a lot of my father's death in 1997 and being around him and watching his body change, but he was medicated as well with sedatives for all this pain. But watching Amina completely blew my mind because she was so clear. I could not wrap my head around the fact that she was really getting ready to pass. I looked at her, I heard her voice, I saw her sitting up, interacting, clear, wise, appropriate. It was amazing. And then she passed. And I'm still processing how this happened and how beautiful it was with so much love surrounding and the lack of fear. I could not get over that. I'm still in awe of this process of the Bardo. So I'm very happy we went there today. And this near-death experiences, these things are so profound in helping us see beyond. And reading Joe Dispenza lately, oh wow, the power of the mind, like you were telling us a few years back, that the science is catching up with the meditators about where we go. And now they're proving these things, and it's all coming together in this incredible way. And I just wanted to share that observation that with practice, with the acknowledgement and with the letting go of fear and looking at this cycle that we're in and this acceptance, it's such a beautiful practice. And I'm so happy we're on this together. It's wonderful. Thank you.
Thank you, Sherry. Thank you so much. Wow. Yeah, imagine. And Liliha, is that Liliha waving her hand? Oh, this is so cool. Hi. From the swamps of Louisiana. Okay.
Yeah, it's mighty hot here.
Oh.
Well, you and I have talked about this, but in the context, I feel like my big sister Susie died in December. She had a very short battle with pancreatic cancer that had gone to her brain. And she was a very vibrant, just full of life. She would say she loved life. She was quite a person, and the cancer it ate up her brain. I couldn't be there. My nephew took care of her heroically. And he even sent me pictures, and I have a beautiful picture of her with a little stuffed cat I had sent her, and it's Susie, full of life and such beauty. And then this picture, it popped up on Facebook. He's a biker, all these hairy tattooed guys, and there is my sister, totally vacant. I mean, there is no Susie there. There's no sister there. And she had chosen very, very rationally not to take chemo. She was ready to go. I followed, I heard the stories. I knew about Amina and all like that. And I know what to do for myself around that. And I know what I feel and my practice and all. But and I know I've asked you about this before, Prema. What can you tell someone who is watching that kind of death, where there's no consciousness, no presence, no anything that after a while, I mean, she was taking off her clothes. She couldn't handle her walker. The dementia got just as bad as it can humanly get.
So
I think that's how.
Yeah, go on.
No, that's it. I'm done. I've,
Okay,
I want to hear what you have to say. Yeah.
okay. The surface consciousness, no matter how it's displaying, the subtle consciousness is still present. So, and you can always address it, even though it may not respond the way you would like. Nonetheless, there is still a subtle presence that receives, that will um, resonate, there's the word, with the intent that you have. So what I recommend when there's a lot of unconsciousness going on around in the people that are surrounding the dying person and in the dying person, to really get into the 4 thoughts of Ho'oponopono. Because the thing that propels an unwholesome rebirth is these various clingings. And this is something everyone can relate to. I'm sorry for anything, anytime I've ever hurt you. I forgive you for any hurt that you've ever done to me. I love you and I thank you. Those are the 4 thoughts of Ho'oponopono. And in this way, you are addressing the deep, subtle mind, even if they don't understand you on the surface. The deep mind receives the intent. It resonates with your intent and it opens you. I mean, the ones who are still alive, it reminds you, this is how we do it. This is what we should do with everybody all the time. Be offering that mercy to them, mercy to yourself. Gratitude. The whole business about gratitude is repeatedly demonstrated to us how important it is for us to generate gratitude and love. Simply to, unconditional love, no matter what or where or how, nonetheless, that's present, unconditional love. And the more we acknowledge that and generate that, the easier it is to do it in all circumstances for all beings, no matter how strange they appear. Because, um, when we see someone doing something that harms others, and we know that this is wrong, we know that this is going to cause an infinite amount of trouble, not only to the others, but to them. And yet, what can we do? We can't force them to change. We need to be able to love them unconditionally, no matter how we might have to be very fierce with them. We may have to be aggressive and control them because they're about to harm others. But we never move from the place of love. We do it always out of love. And that is a cultivation. That again is one of those practices, one of those mental gymnastics that we have to learn how to perform. And this is where it really helps to identify yourself completely as a radiant light being, as a Tara, because from that place you have what you need. You have what they need, even if it doesn't sound like the way you think it should, or feel even like the way you think it should. Nonetheless, you can assert, this is where I sit. I sit in the heart of love.
Thank you.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, it's not easy. This is the thing. None of this is easy. And it isn't even advertised as easy. The lamas will say simple, simple, straightforward, but not easy. You have to work at it. It takes effort. It takes effort. But if you apply the effort, then there is a result. There is that resonant quality. It feeds back to you. And you know the difference. I mean, most of you that I see in this beautiful gallery of souls, all my dear friends, you've had experience. You've had some experience working with Tara, working with these practices. You know how transformative they are. You know what they've done for you. And so because of that, because you know this, then you're willing to engage. You're willing, I mean, it starts like that. Um, you know, when we encountered the teachings, who knows when we started? Well, they were interesting, but you know, maybe couldn't relate to it, really. But over the course of time, when we had various experiences, it becomes more real. And this is what Shakyamuni said. He said, You're not going to understand any of this just by listening to me. What you're going to understand is your own experience. But once you have the experience, then it's yours. Then it's yours and you can build on it. And you know, I know most of you. You've had experiences. That's what you're doing here. That's why you've come to hang out with me for a couple of hours. Yeah. Okay. Is there anyone else who has something they would like to share or a question they'd like to ask? How are we doing? Yeah? Oh, Malia. Oh, hi.
Unmute myself. Yes,
You're okay. We can hear you.
great. I just wanted to say Mother passed away last July on Bastille Day at 106. And when I'm mentioning this to people, and unfortunately because of my accident, I was not there. It was summertime. So there were a lot of circumstances that she did pass away with hospice in her own home, but she had been moved into a different climate, so that was cut short. But when I speak of that passing, I say when she was going down for her afternoon naps, as she was kind of passing through the phases of the bardo, and my sister and brother were there, she would say in a very loud voice, "Now I lay me down to sleep. I pray the Lord my soul to keep. If I should die before I wake, I pray the Lord that my soul to take." So she was saying it in such a loud way that if you were paying any kind of attention to her or being concerned about her, she was telling you that she was transitioning and she wanted you to be aware of that. So, but there was hospice there. And even though my brother was concerned that she was not getting any liquids, which he thought as a medical person that she should be getting, hospice and assured him that it was not necessary or that they were taking care of that issue. So when I share that story of Mother passing, I like to say that she was conscious that she was transitioning. Yeah.
Wow.
And she made her primary caregivers very aware of that.
Fantastic. Yeah, that's a prayer that I said every day for as long as I was in my parents' house.
Right.
Yep. Now I lay me down to sleep. Yep. Beautiful. Thank you for sharing, Malia. Yeah. Ooh, 106. Oh my goodness. Makes me tired just thinking about it. Ay, ay, ay. Is there anyone else who has something they would like to share? Question that they would like to chew on a little bit? We're all doing okay? Okay, so now let me get out the Bardo prayer. Now, you must have noticed the section with the Tam, the dissolution of the Tam. So in the Bardo prayer that I organized for us, I didn't do that because that wasn't the way it was revealed to me. As you know, these practices have many variations. So I'm going to just read this and stop when I have some commentary, but otherwise I want you to really think about it and see if there's anything that you would like me to elaborate on. Myself and all beings that equal the sky take refuge in the three jewels, and until the heart of enlightenment is reached, I pray they deliver us from the fears of present, future, and intermediate lives. This precious human life is so difficult to find and easily destroyed, and it determines our sufferings or happiness. Therefore, I undertake the great purpose of awakening. This life is impermanent and all things change. Time of death is uncertain. May I cease the suffering and confusion of mind regarding thoughts of grasped and grasping the impurity of the four elements, the illusory nature of the five aggregates, and all conditions that cause death, the suffering of separating consciousness, the cutting of the essence of life. May I cease confused states of mind, the cause of non-virtuous action. May I remember at death, happy and confident, the advice of my spiritual friends. May I realize the deathless essence, stop the illusory thoughts arising from the three poisons. May strong mindfulness arise when my senses ceases to function and I cannot distinguish sounds, shapes, smells, tastes, or feelings. When I recognize the dissolution of the aggregate of form, the earth element dissolves. Our body loses strength. We cannot get up or stay upright or hold anything. We feel we are falling, sinking underground, being crushed, heavy and uncomfortable. As the earth element dissolves into the water element, the secret sign is a vision of a shimmering mirage. I will visualize the goddess at my heart. Now remember, you can do this practice once you have it sorted out and the pieces memorized. You can do it through the tom syllable. So this is the green light sinking into you, the absorption of the element earth, the vision of a mirage. Now your Tara body sinks from top to bottom into your heart. This is the aggregate of feeling. As the water element dissolves, we lose control of our bodily fluids, and we feel like we're drowning in an ocean or being swept away by the river. As it dissolves into the fire element, the secret sign is a haze with swirling wisps of smoke. And in this here, we are being absorbed. I'm trying to coordinate it with the practice that we were just doing, which is so, oh, there it is. Okay. So now our body sinks, our Tara body, from top to bottom into our heart, into the Tam. And that is water sinking into fire. And you have the vision of smoke. Now, perception, in the aggregate of perception, the fire element dissolves. We can't eat or drink, being consumed in flames. As the fire element dissolves, the secret sign is shimmering red sparks. So now the bottom of the letter Tom sinking into the main body of the letter, that is fire sinking into air, and you have the fire vision. I realize the dissolution of the aggregate of intellect as the air element dissolves. It becomes hard to breathe. We hallucinate and have visions. We experience a great wind sweeping away the world. The air element dissolves into consciousness. The secret sign is a flaming torch with a red glow. So here we have the white vision, the head of the Tom sinks into the moon sickle. The moon sickle sinks into the tigle, and the tigle sinks into the nada, and it becomes dark. The light goes out. I will then transfer my consciousness into the wisdom mind of the goddess. Blood gathers and enters the channel of life in the center of the heart. The dissolution of respiration, full moon awareness, the red essence descends from the navel to the heart. Experience of redness, experience of blackness, experience of whiteness, and the ground luminosity arises. There is nothing to hold on to. You are in non-duality, the state of total emptiness. The energy is in the central channel, and the subtle consciousness awakens. So that's what I wanted to share, just to show you the connection between the Bardo prayer and the Tom experience, the Tom meditation. I encourage you to read the Bardo prayer. You can simplify it if you like, because there's quite a lot here. There's no need to do all of it. Find the most succinct parts, but definitely get the experience of the elements so that when it occurs for you, you're ready. Then Lama said, always keep, so these were, he said, apply the 5 forces. Always keep in mind emptiness and compassion. Maintain mindfulness and awareness on bodhicitta, the wish to bring all beings to happiness. Engage in virtuous seeds, concentrate on bringing benefit. Do not get lost in thoughts of ego cherishing. And then always dedicate your virtuous activity. In preparation for death, start giving away your possessions. If you know you're on your way out, start dissolving everything. Give them away without attachment, and make enlightenment the single focus of your aspiration. Reveal the truth of your goddess-like nature. In that way, you destroy ego clinging and you manifest as a deity. Always remember, never be without wisdom and compassion. In this way, you prepare for death as you live your life. Sarva Mangalam. Sarva Mangalam. So everyone, thank you so much. I know it was a little bit chaotic today with the comings and the goings and the runnings around and, you know, the papers shuffling, but we did it. We managed somehow to spend 2 glorious hours bouncing around in the Dharma pool. So I want to see you all before I go. Let me see if I can find you. Oh dear. Ah, there you are. Oh, thank you so much, Noel. Thank you. You're just so fabulously helpful. And thank you so much, Min, who's recording this, and Miri, who is working the music as best she can as she prepares to leap off into the unknown once again. Thank you so much, everyone. So I dedicate whatever inspiration, whatever joy we have generated through this sincere practice. May it be for the benefit of all. Let's do 3 Oma Hungs of dedication. Om Ma Hung. Om Ma Hung. Om Ah And a special thank you to Laura, who's so generous in so many fabulous ways. It was really lovely to have you share a bit of your connection with the dear Lama Yeshe. So,
Prema,
yes,
Maya is doing the translation to Portuguese.
okay.
Thank
Maya,
you.
wow, thank you. Fantastic. Yes, I didn't even think about the translators this time. So I hope she could keep up. My goodness gracious. Yeah, wonderful. And Miri, travel well. Our prayers are all with you and can't wait until we see you in September. Yeah, yeah. Okay, beloveds, all the best in all ways. Bye for now. Bye.
Be well.